Welcome to another episode of DioTalk. My guest today is a mindset coach. Ladies and gentlemen, give a welcome to Elle Crichton. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Good. How about you?
I'm
How's
good.
it
I'm
going,
good.
Dio?
It's good. Can't complain. Hustling.
Yep. I see you.
So I'm glad we're finally here. We get to talk about a little bit what you're doing. Yeah, just tell me a little bit about this mindset coach you're doing. You're very inspiring. You have a large following. You're doing big things. Let us know.
Oh yeah. A little bit about Own the Struggle. I have been. It's kind of been a goal of mine for a long time to, I guess, not necessarily be a coach, but to be a thought leader. Is what they call it in the industry. For 7 years, I've been wanting to do like public speaking or anything within this industry, and I've always kind of been like hesitant to to walk in my calling. My background comes from psychology, so I have a bachelor's and master's in psychology.
Nice.
But thank you. But I didn't want to go the therapist route or like to be a psychologist. I'm not knocking them. I wholeheartedly support and agree with what it stands for. But me personally, I just couldn't get past looking in the past.
Yeah.
And I think because of what my own experiences and my struggles growing up in the hood, I feel like I should always be looking forward, and I should help people go from where they're at now to where they're gonna go, to walk in their calling. And so that's where I've been doing a lot of research on coaching, and yeah, that I mean I have the educational background for it too, but on the struggle, the way it came about is I believe that that's what we need to do in order to move forward, is to not ignore the struggle. It's not to ignore or numb or,
Yeah.
do anything to get away from it, but it's just to go forward one step at a time, one day at a time. So that pretty much is
That's
what I
some
do.
that's some real shit. That's some real
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like that's deep. That's deep because like we live in like it's like 2021, right? We live
Mhm.
in a very emotional atmosphere environment, right? Like
Mhm.
everybody wants to get their emotion out and be heard, but
Yep.
nobody really wants to look inside and actually deal with it. And like I totally understand because I'm from the hood too. I live in the hood, you know.
Yeah.
I grew up in Puerto Rico, and that was like a jungle in
Okay.
itself. And then came over here, and I'm in the hood, so I support and I totally understand what you're trying to do. Do you know like the precise moment, right? That like you got inspired to do this, like it just like click, this is what I want to do.
Um, so it's kind of like a twofold answer. So like, growing up in the hood, being
Mhm.
surrounded by gang violence, my oldest brother was actually uh shot and killed. He was
Oh, I'm
murdered.
sorry for hearing that.
Appreciate it. Um, so this was like when I was super young. I was like 12 years old. This is back in '06. But that was essentially the whole pivot of our life moving forward. I have five brothers. I'm the only girl, and we grew up in a Christian household. Our parents were Christian missionaries, and we decided to settle in Long Beach, California, when we were super young because we thought that that was the American dream.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm Samoan. Just a
Ooh,
FYI,
shout
I'm
out
Samoan.
Samoa. There you go.
So that is like we're coming in like with blinders on because we're like missionary kids. We don't really
Yeah.
know much, and we came to the hood, and so we just went straight. We immersed ourselves into that culture, so to speak. And so when that happened to my brother, that's when like this hood kind of came off. Like, oh dang, this is
Shit got
real life.
real. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is what really happens. I still believe in God. I still have I still believe that prayer protects us. But this was the moment where like, okay, but reality is also a huge part of life. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's kind of like my beginning of why I went into psychology. But like after school, you know, when you have a goal your whole life and you reach that goal and you're like, oh, that's not really actually the goal I really wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me pretty much as I was finishing grad school last year. So I was getting into it and I had like a real talk with myself. Like I sat in my room and I was like, I'm not satisfied. Or like I just don't feel like this is fully what I want to do. Like, do I want to really sit there and help people, like, I guess try to change their past or something? Like I just didn't feel like that was my calling, is to sit there and help people navigate the path. Again, nothing wrong with it. I still help people do that within my own boundaries as a mindset coach. But I just feel like me coming out of all that addiction that I had when my brother passed away, coming out of all the stuff that I went through, I feel like I had to just keep moving forward and not dwell on that my brother got killed, or that, like, you know, we had no food to eat, or like we were always running away from like gang violence. Like there's no point in me dwelling in that. So I had to keep moving forward. And that's when I decided, I was like, let me use my degrees in a different light. And because I've always wanted to be a public speaker, I never really knew about coaching. So that's when I was doing my research last year. So it kind of just happened last year, but I knew that I always wanted to be a speaker. But so it just kind of just fell
Fall.
on my lap.
Yeah.
So that's it. I guess last year then, I guess, but I needed to add that, the other part.
Yeah. No, that's dope. That's dope. You know, there's so shit. There's so many types of coaches. Like you could lose count, right? But like
Yeah.
to really sit there and say you're a coach to help people's mindset and own their shit. And you know, I like you just hearing is like you were like you found that moment and where you had to come to acceptance. It was like, yo, this shit can't hold me back. It can't. And I need, it's not satisfying living this, you know, this day-to-day life. I need more. I want
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Like that's really deep. I think we need more people like you in this culture, because there's a lot of things that, you know, whether it's tragedy or trauma or just fucking getting our shit together. You know, we need somebody to help us. And not to say that the you know shrinks or therapists do that, but you know, they're more like they're listening, and they'll ask you a question, and you know that question, you know, like calls your attention, but it's
Yeah.
not really like, yo, you got to get your shit together. You know, you're 30 years old, still live with your mom, right? There's you got to go. Like we need more of that, like especially in like in the hood, that you know there's so much of like, let's take money for example, right? In the hood, and I only speak I experience because I was, you know, I was young once. Like I worried about the flyest shit I wanted to wear, some Jordans or you know, but you know what I really needed was fucking get a car, right?
Yeah.
To be able to progress, get a better job, get a better opportunity, move some, you know. And but I was stuck in the Jordans, so I realized, you know, these fucking $200 sneakers ain't getting me nowhere. It's actually putting me in debt. So I needed to come to terms with myself, get my shit together to move forward. And in a sense, it goes hand in hand with what you're trying to do. And I give you mad props, you know, because that shit,
Appreciate
that's
it.
just amazing. Not a lot of people could do that, you know, like it's a vicious world out there.
It sure is. And I'll eat you alive if you let
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like what what goals like do you have in mind? Like you want to be a public speaker, like a motivation speaker, like do that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So my niche and my topics is pertaining to women, um, because women, in a sense, we tend to hold things in more emotionally. We have more of that inner critic is what majority of my content is about. But I pretty much want to always do like keynote speaking about that, about helping women understand like, yo, this inner critic that we always have because we're trying to please other people, or we're just constantly comparing ourselves, or we think that the space is limited for women so much that if I see another sister over there like winning, then that means I can't win. And there's this stigma around that. And I want to take away that stigma. I want to break down these these I guess feelings of like I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, I have to earn it. So that's what I want to be speaking about, and use all my content is backed up by research, and that's the psychologist part in me. I do my due diligence of researching, reading journal articles, reading from the Bible too, and I have to take this dense research and turn it into something that we all can understand, because some people can't really read the statistics in a journal article. And that's where I use my background of like using that so that everybody else can understand the statistics, because I think that's the disconnect, is like people use all these fancy words, vocabulary words, when all they're really trying to say is like something very simple. Like you need to get more sleep or something like that, so but yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about.
There's like very
just,
like women empowerment movement.
Yeah,
That's
but
dope.
I'm not just like all about women or like that feminist stuff, but it's just trying to let women know that I see you and I know that you can do it. And if I can see that and everybody else can see it, you should be able to see it for yourself too.
Like
So yeah,
like a support system. Like
yeah,
you need
yeah.
that
I want to
support.
create.
There's a lot of women
Mm-hmm.
that have the capability and potential to shit.
Yes.
Especially right now, we have a vice president that's a female. This is like the best year for women empowerment. And
Yeah. Yeah.
even though we have that, there's still women out there that need that little push or inspiration and support.
Yep.
If anything, it's more support, because they're tough days. Like
Yes.
I wish my wife is a very strong woman. She's very
Mm,
like, if you speak to her, you and her will connect like right there and then, right? And
yeah.
if anything, I wish T had more support, strong women like her. Because it's
Exactly.
sometimes it gets difficult, like you always being that, strong person, and you having
Yes.
everybody's back. And like she has a ton, shit, I lost count how many people go, come to her for advice and what to do and whatnot. And I'm lucky enough, shit, I'm honored to sometimes when she comes to me, to be able to listen. And
Mm,
sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been the best listener, but I do my best,
hmm.
and I wish she had that support. And women like her, like you, that's what we really need. You know,
Appreciate it.
a lot of times I feel some women stay stuck in like bitterness, what prevents them to, and and I'm saying, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it prevents them to like really overcome and become that awesome person they need to be.
Yes. Yes. And I definitely agree. I mean, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I've always been strong. But I've had moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was this one time where like for a whole year I was bitter. For a whole year I was like,
I
stuck in
feel you.
unforgiveness.
I feel you.
So I totally get it. It's and that's where I'm trying to come from too, is also like a place of understanding of the struggle, So that's, yeah, pretty much
I,
kind
I
of
was
full
I was
circle.
yesterday, because yesterday I hit you up on IG to remind you about the podcast, right? And I was looking on your posts, right? And it's something like this idea just occurred to me, right? And and I'm gonna do the best that I can to deliver my thought process, right? I can't remember
Okay.
exactly what posts I saw it on, but it's like, we live in a world right now that everybody's so emotional. Everybody wants to, just oh, just put it out there, right? Very, we can't really say anything. It's so sensitive, and what's what's really missing is like it's like the world right now is very selfish, so sensitive, and what we need more is like to be a little bit more empathetic, but
Mhm.
yet like what you're trying to do, direct. It's like
Yeah.
I I understand when you're going through, but I also understand that if you continue let this bother you,
Mhm.
it's gonna put a crutch on you. And what
Mhm.
you really need to do is you need to get your shit together. Like I can't remember what post I saw it, but like that's the post I saw was that. And
I
like
love it.
I totally I connected. It was beautiful.
I love it. I gotta figure out what post that is too, because as a content creator, as somebody who's still trying to learn the ropes on this side of business, that there's like your target audience, right? But there's this message that you're trying to convey, and you just summed up the message that I'm trying to convey. Is like I'm very empathetic. I truly understand, and I truly support you. But I'm gonna be direct because that's how I am.
Mm.
I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna tell it like it is 100% of the time, even if it doesn't. It's gonna hurt your feelings because that's how my parents were to me and my siblings, and I feel like that's a huge part of why I was able to be resilient and overcome a lot of the obstacles. So yeah, that's so
Yeah, no,
awesome that you
yeah,
said that. I
yeah.
appreciate that you said that.
No, listen, I am not that far so different from you. I get it, and there's been a lot of times in life, like I say it all the time on the podcast, like people don't like me. I don't have friends, and that's something I'm okay with,
Uh-huh.
because I have like a, for me to call you a friend, you have to earn that. It's something I learned through time, and I'm not gonna show you my nice colors straight off the bat. You got to earn that.
Mhm.
And when I see people and I see them down, I am very empathetic. I understand, but I also understand that you got to get your ass up. You got to, dust that shoulder off the dust on your shoulder, and you got to move forward.
Mhm.
You got to accept the thing, and shit. I'm going to use my marriage as an example. Like, I've been through a lot of shit in my marriage, you know, not versus, but in a sense of we're united and together we have gone through so much shit outside
Mhm.
of the door. And, you know, this last year it was really mentally difficult for me, and to a point that I feel like I when I'm quiet, I'm always quiet. But when I'm quiet, it's like it's silence. So,
Mhm.
it's nothing connecting and it's just silence, right? And there were things that, I left, I was living a life that just moving forward
Mhm.
and not letting it, it's like, fuck it, just move forward, keep going, keep going. From my childhood that I lived traumatic shit to, me now being an adult, just keep it moving forward and not not even accepting or acknowledging what I was going through to
Mhm.
to a point now that I'm grown, I'm married, I have a son, and now all that shit that I was just passing forward just now just it's just coming out me, and I can't
Yeah.
hold it. I can't push it back. It's just coming out through my pores,
Yeah.
and I had to come to, like, you could call it a Jesus moment, you could call it a revelation, shit, you could call it whatever you want. But I had to look at myself in the mirror, but also look at my wife and say that I need to accept what I've gone through, accept it, and fucking move on from it because it's holding me back. It's
Yeah.
holding me back from being a father. It's holding me back from being a brother, from a son, from a husband, for so many things, you know. And I need to acknowledge them because they did happen. And
Mhm.
once I do that, I'm able to maybe it's fucking take 2 or 3 days and cry them out. When nobody's watching,
Yep.
because nobody needs to see your tears. And have a good night's sleep and move forward.
Hmm.
We all need to grieve, but we
Yes.
all need to move forward as well.
Yep. Truly agree. Truly agree. I it's crazy that you say that too, though, because I have the same approach. If I need to cry, like if I need to sit there and reflect and then I need to cry, I'm gonna go in my room and I just have a day to myself and just cry it out. There's a reel that I had actually that was like, I'm gonna take a 45-minute cry real quick and I come back
Yeah.
out and handle it, because that's what you have to deal with the emotions as it comes. Otherwise it's gonna be like that. And I've had
Hmm.
many moments like that where I just keep pushing
Yeah.
it off, but there comes a time and it'll come at the most random time
Hmm.
that it just like you said, I like the analogy. It's like kind of coming out of your pores. You have no choice
Hmm.
but to face it and it happens. And then sometimes, especially when people come from, I guess, what is it called? Low socioeconomic statuses,
Hmm.
those type of poverty communities, we have poor emotional regulation. So if it comes a time where it's kind of coming out your pores and you have poor emotional regulation, you're gonna overreact, which is 90% of the time, or you're gonna go out and do something dumb and go into your impulses like
Yeah.
drinking, binge eating, all that type of stuff. So that's another reason why I always say feel the emotions because it's gonna get to a point where that's gonna happen. It's gonna, blow the roof off.
Yeah, no,
So
facts. Yeah, yeah. I recently started doing this thing. Like my son, he's autistic. He's nonverbal, right? And he goes on these tantrums, and it's because majority of the times he's being misunderstood. And as a child, I can only relate. And so I tried this new thing and just trying to talk to him, right? As I'm trying to soothe him. And I'm like, basically telling him being angry, you will never get a good outcome of being angry.
mhm.
And I keep repeating, and I keep repeating it. Like yesterday I had a tantrum like that, and I just kept repeating it until like he calmed himself. He understood what I was saying,
Mm,
and going back to what you're saying, being angry, you're never gonna get a good outcome of anything. You want to get real, you're in court, you're set on trial. Everything you did, if you're you're the defender, whatever, everything you do is based off emotions,
yeah,
right? When you're on trial, the defendant is basically telling you're trying to justify why you did it. But the law tells you it doesn't matter what emotion you did. It doesn't matter. Your emotions don't matter. What matters is that you committed a crime.
yeah, that's true.
And then it doesn't matter how much you try to justify, you're wrong.
Hmm.
And that thought process has helped me fucking overcome a lot of shit. And
That's
say,
good.
and that's not because you're scared. Ain't nobody want to be
Hmm.
fucking in a cage and treated like an animal.
Hmm. That's
And
true.
like you said, we live in the hood.
Hmm.
A lot of our brothers and sisters are acting out just because they don't know how to whether they're scared or a lot of these people, all these children, because they're children with guns, kill one another, and because they're scared, not because
Hmm.
they're tough.
Yeah, poor emotional regulation.
Yeah. And
it,
yeah.
sorry, I didn't want to
No, go ahead,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off, but it's like I don't want to give the excuse, but literally, it's stacked against us. The system is stacked against us. In that everything around us has been made for like the educational system in itself. It was actually built for the 1%. I don't, and they teach this in school. They teach this in sociology classes as well. The universities and colleges, that was built for the 1%. It was not for everybody else. And so that's why it's impossible for everybody else to get in. That's why there's always these student loans. That's why there's like everything else on the other side of that. Not to say that school is everyone needs to go to school, but it's just the fact that that alone was built separately than actually helping other people in, you know, living in oppression. There is not that much resources to mental health. There's no resources for people who are incarcerated. There's no people preventing people to get incarcerated, like especially in the juvenile stage. You know, the delinquent behavior is rotating. It's a revolving door going through generation to generation to generation because of the hood that we live in. And you know what's up, like the living conditions that we're offered. It's like there's literally, we're climbing a mountain just to get a normal life. So we're already stacked against our emotional needs already. It's depleted from the moment you're born. And it's sad. But again, just like how direct I am, it can be done. Like you can't just like accept it and say like, man, you know, I'm gonna keep getting mad, I'm gonna keep blowing steam. Like, and I was a hothead. Majority of my life, I was a hothead. It was to a point where I actually got myself kicked out of school. So like I totally understand.
Me too.
Yeah. I was academically dismissed, you know, like that. It's the truth. But it takes a lot to go back to school and get it done. You know, it takes a lot to go back to who you offended and say sorry. It takes a lot, but it's what's needed to move forward and progress in whatever your goals are. So I just feel like I had to point that out because a lot of people don't know these statistics or they don't know these facts that they actually do teach in school, but only to certain, like sociology and psychology.
Yeah, only to a certain extent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's that's real. I find myself apologizing all the time. You know, like I had this good friend named Thomas Chung. I worked with him in this shitty place. This place we worked together, it would bring out the worst in you, right? It surely brought out the worst in me, and I'm grateful that today, some way or form, God brought him back into my life, and I know this time I'm not gonna take, how do you say, I'm not gonna take for granted his friendship.
Yeah.
And it's also, you know, it's very rare for me to feel like that for anybody. But I get it. I get it. This it's like these emotion roller coaster we go through, you know, and it's cycles. You know, it's passed on from one cycle of family to the next and next. And it's, you know, we use a lot of things to um to just block our minds, whether it's music, you know, some people like to smoke weed, drink. We're always trying to block these things to help us just not think about shit. But like if you are able to say fuck and start thinking and trying to overcome these things, you can't succeed.
Yep.
You can't overcome. And it helps you become strong-minded. You know, and today's society, like it's a lot of suicide because the mentality is low. That strong-minded is low. And you know, they're trying to pill pop, they're trying to smoke, they're trying to use any type of drug or drink to numb that.
Yeah.
You know, it's real difficult. It's real difficult.
Very true. And I just have to say this too. If you're listening to this and you really do need help, support, please don't just rely on a coach. Please go and get some therapy or try to get an eval from a counselor because it's very serious too if you on the suicidal notion. Just wanted to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Very. Like I grew up in Puerto Rico. I feel like everything over there was physical. Like I was always in fights and shit like that.
Yeah.
But then once I moved here, like it changed. I saw, I realized that like a lot of things over here is very mental.
Mhm.
Everybody will try to make you like break you down mentally,
I
whether it's
agree.
jobs or schools or fucking relationships. Everything is so mental.
Hmm.
And it was at first, excuse me, it was really difficult. It was really difficult, you know, because it's like they had so much power over me, but yet they didn't even know me. Why know the person? And that's why when I say you gotta stop giving a fuck about shit, and it's true. Because over
Hmm.
here, like living in, like at least in my experience living over here, it will crumble you.
Yeah,
So I really, applaud what you're trying to do. It's it's amazing.
appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
What does your family say about what you're trying to do?
To be honest, at first my parents didn't understand. I think just because they're very traditional, old
Yeah,
school, old fashioned. Um, their mentality is a 9 to 5 mentality. And they just didn't understand it at first. That's really all. But they know that I love speaking and they love when I speak too. So they're always encouraging me to do public speaking more. Um, so I told them like this is pretty much public speaking, but just using my degree. And they're like, oh, okay. So like they love and they look at it as ministry, and I do too. It's because I was a Christian missionary as well. That's a long story, but it's like a what we call the Great Commission, and it's what we use. We're utilizing our experiences and everything that we've been through the struggle as a testimony, and see if other people will understand and or be inspired by it, so that they can look within themselves and reflect in themselves as well to see what I guess what's kind of holding them back. But my brothers, I love my brothers. They're my biggest support system. My whole family is, but my brothers, they have the same mentality as me. We've been through a lot. Riding for our older brother, doing a lot of other stuff that I
yeah,
can't say over
yeah,
here for my older brother. But they, we have been a tight knit family ever since my brother died, and we're just all about progression. And so um, I get it from my brother. My oldest brother, second oldest brother, lives in New Zealand right now. He's an entrepreneur himself, um, and so I get that mindset from him. And then the brother after him, he actually played football for UW in college, and that was his. He was kind of like the first one to get out the hood
hmm
through education and sports, and so that was my inspiration. And then he went and got his master's of social work, so he's basically a social worker now. Um, and so like all the inspiration, it doesn't like I'm not the one who's breaking the cycle. It's my older brothers at this point, and we're helping our younger twin brothers continue to uh,
So
follow
you're
suit.
just like it's your job to continue it. You
Yes.
continue being that role model, so that cycle
Yeah.
continue to break. So now
Yeah.
everybody broke the cycle.
Yeah. And we're gonna continue to do it so that I don't have kids right now, but my nieces and nephews won't have to worry about this stuff. But best believe we still gonna teach them tough love.
Hell yeah,
But you know,
hell yeah, hell yeah,
but like
100%.
they,
You tell them.
they don't have to worry about what are we gonna eat tomorrow, or like like or have they're gonna have a healthy relationship with with love, or like healthy relationship with emotions, and they're gonna know how to do all the things that we didn't know how to do, that we had to fight to learn how to do. So yeah, that I'm glad you asked that question because I love my family so much.
I feel you. I
Um,
feel you. Respect, respect. Shout out to them. Um,
yeah.
like I know you were saying very religious and whatnot, and I want to ask you this question because I find myself like having conversations with other people. Like, and my maybe I'm wrong, or maybe they haven't just find that space to grow.
Hmm.
Like, at what point, like when it comes to getting your shit together, right? As a person, not you, but in general, right? Like, at what point, I can't even speak. At what point, religion stops playing a role that now you have to like tell yourself, I gotta get my shit together.
Yeah, so they teach this in school too. Honestly, as a coach and as a counselor, it's we don't ever push our personal religion. That's very unethical. But we have to say that we have to give the statistic also that having a belief in a higher being, or like just a belief, significantly increases your chances of resilience. This is like backed up by research. It's backed up by lots of clinical research. But some people, a majority of the time, people do believe in the higher. It doesn't have to be the same as me, but it's just the fact that believing in something higher than yourself, I guess it's all in the mindset. It's in the mindset. So believing in something higher than yourself pulls you away from yourself and allows you to see that, like, that this higher being, I guess, is helping you or guiding you in a sense. And so that's why I think when there's so much clinical research that goes through, that's why people have a better time being resilient or overcoming their struggles, because the pressure is not always on them. So I don't know if that answers your question, because majority of the time people need it all the time. It's kind of, I guess, just what you believe in.
Yeah.
But and then there's moments where people who grew up in the church leave their faith, which is what I did. I actually left my faith when my brother passed away, and then I came back. And so there's a lot of moments like that too. And I came back because I felt like I needed it, or it's just also part of me. It's like part of my identity as well. And I also needed that time to go and search it for my own, because I grew up in it. So it's kind of like conditioning me, but I needed to figure it out on my own, for my own belief, for my own relationship with God, you know? So that's what happens to a lot of people as well.
I feel that. I respect that. I
Yeah.
feel that. Like, see, the reason I ask is because, like, I've heard a bunch of pastors and preachers say this, say something like this, like, I don't represent myself with any type of religions. I respect all types of religions, to each his own, and in a crazy way, it's their religion are beautiful and peaceful in some way, right? Like, I call my God hope. Hope. Hopefully, we tomorrow it's hope. When I speak of God, I speak of hope. And I've learned that, like, sometimes I taking a shower, I'm sitting down before sleep. I sit down and I talk to God, and I know He's hearing me because there's some shit He lays out that's like, damn, only.
Yeah.
But God would open doors for you, but you have to do the work, right? Being what I'm trying to say is, hope without putting in the work is nothing. And a lot of people, and I don't mean to offend them or anything like that, but a lot of people, you know, rely on God for things to happen and fail to see that God would help you. He will open that door, but you're the one who has to go through it. No, point blank. That's it. Hope without putting in the work is nothing. You have to put in the work. And I grew up in Puerto Rico with different Christians, Pentecostal, Catholic, a lot of different religious culture in Puerto Rico. I've gone to attend multiple times their churches. I enjoyed myself. Once I understood, I was able to enjoy myself, and I was singing and I was preaching, out of respect. When they invite me, I would go. And I've learned throughout this journey with these people that, some of them preach to Him, but fail to understand that they also have to put their part. God will give you anything you want, and you to decide if it's good for you. You actually, and you shall receive. But if you do not put in the work, nothing's happening. Right?
Facts.
So that's the reason why I wanted to ask my question. But you answered it.
It's a great question. And that's literally, I think I put a post on that too. That some people, even like, my mom, she didn't understand psychology at first. She thought that it was like a scientific thing. And technically, yeah, it's a science-backed thing. But there is an integration of faith and psychology. It's possible. I mean, there's a lot of Christian universities out there as well. There is a lot of Christian psychologists out there as well, and counselors and therapists. But because of what you just said, literally, you can't just be praying for stuff and keep praying and relying on your prayers to cover the things that you want or the things that you need to get done. If there's a calling over your life, or if there's like a purpose that you feel you want it to come to fruition, you can't just keep praying. You got to put in some action. You got, like, the most wonderful thing is that God gives us choice. He allows us to choose, and it's up to you to deem if it's right or wrong. But it's like you have to go forward with choice. You can't just keep relying on God to put it on your lap. So
if you make the right choice, good. If you make the wrong choice, learn from it. Don't let it hold you back. Learn from it.
Exactly.
And progress.
Exactly.
There's a reason why he wants you to make a choice. If you can make it a good one, it'll be easier on him. But yeah. there's a reason, because we gotta learn, and only through lessons, we can learn. And a lot of people stay stuck on, they stay stuck on those lessons.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And I like failing sometimes too. I don't like the emotional part, but I like failing in the aspect that I look at it as like, okay, I'm not ready for the next season yet. And I feel like it's a sign that maybe there's just a little bit more tribulation I got to go through. Not to say that I need to earn the next season, but it's in a sense of leadership, because I've always, it's kind of a trait that I've always had in any space that I've been through. I always seem to find my way to the top, leadership wise. And I feel like that's kind of me saying like, okay, I think I need to be ready. I need to own this season that I'm in, no matter if I freaking hate it, if I don't like it, because there's a lot of jobs that things that I don't want to do, but I know I have to do it. I can't just give up. Like, I gotta get through it because it's gonna be needed in the next season. Yeah. And you never know until the next season comes.
Yeah.
And then I look back and I'm like, I'm glad I did all that grunt work, because this is cake. Like,
I need that emotional part. I need, I need to feel broken and hopeless and stressed out and have no energy, because it puts me in my place.
Yeah.
It puts me in my place. It puts things in perspective for me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel sometimes I'm human.
Very true.
And just learning throughout the years, ignoring all the shit I've overcome, and I needed that. It helps me process. You'll be amazed after you go through those emotions, and when you're left with nothing, and you like you said, you cry yourself out. You'll be amazed with the thought process and the energy and the fulfillment of hope you'll have to say, fuck, that journey is difficult, and you now you got to keep going. We all need 100%. That. We all need 100%. That.
It's good. It's good, Dio. I'm loving the conversation.
Yeah, it's dope. Organic conversations.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to bring talking to people a normal thing. but
Yes.
not talking in a sense of, who's on E News or the next shit the Kardashian did or whatever. It's you know I we need more deep conversations. I feel like
Mhm.
life right now is like a text message that you send somebody a whole paragraph, and you could be saying it in a happy way, but when they read it, they're getting a whole different vibe, and tends to come
Yeah.
out misunderstood. And,
Yeah.
and also, like, when you have fast talk, people don't understand what you're trying to say, and that happens to me a lot.
That's that's true. That's so true. That's like my number one thing. Like communication is number one for me. And I'm glad you said that though, because like some people have this notion that, well, I'm gonna be me and I'm
Mhm.
gonna do me, and whatever you feel is what you feel. And I'm like, no, like what, like I get that you want to do you, but if you are not willing to at least meet people halfway, or just communicate halfway, or like everyone has to come and meet your communication standards, that's not even, what I'm saying, like
Mhm.
that doesn't make any sense to me, that no one's willing to um grow, or like, I don't mean uproot your whole life and meet the other person halfway. It's just a basic communication. If you can't say how the other if you don't understand how the other person understands communication, and you're just going to say however you want to say, then that's what causes a lot of quarreling among couples, among companies, boss to employee. Like it just frustrates me
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
so basic. You
yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
and you're gonna assume that they're gonna come to you, but what if the other person assumes the same thing? Then we just have a whole lot of nothing going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I grew up with my grandparents, and it's just they just me by watching, I learned a lot.
Hmm.
You know, I miss that I grew up like played hide and go seek, tag. You know, my grandma used to just look out the window and yell, "Dio, come home! It's
Hmm.
time, time for bed." And now it's just not like that. Now we're not really innocents anymore. You
Hmm.
know, what do you call a child that's already talking about sex at a
Yeah.
very young age?
Yeah.
Like, are you really innocent? You know, used to play with
Hmm.
toys or have these childish interaction.
Yeah.
You know, sit across a person, just talk about life.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes we take people for granted, and every time we see them, we just talk about our problems,
Yeah.
and not get the other chance of the other person to say, "Hey, maybe we should do this," or give them a chance to vent too. We're,
Very
we're
true.
you're very selfish. It's not a 50-50 anymore. We
Hmm.
forgot, money, trends. We lost our values.
Hmm.
See, I'm trying to every day I'm trying to create value for myself, and like having I'd rather be alone than be surrounded with the wrong people. And if I'm surrounded with the right with people, I want people that want more in life, want to progress, want to do things, because they're getting that's just gonna connect to me. It's contagious. And I'm gonna want to I want to get my shit together. I want to buy a house. I want to be my own boss. I want to progress. I want to invest, you know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I had like, let's take music, for example. They had like Kanye and Drake going at it for promotional purposes. And I saw one of my boys who he used to do music. He actually put like an independent album out. And I said, I'd rather waste my time. I said, I'd rather invest my time listening to your album, supporting you, than listen to these people. who are already 2 billionaires.
Yeah.
Who is that helping besides them?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to get back to that, because that's helping me in some way and form his growth. But not everybody's ready for that conversation.
True.
Everybody wants to have a text message conversation, and that's it. Go about the day.
Yeah. Very true. It I was just talking about this with my brother, like me and him, my younger brother, the older twin, we really think exactly alike. And he was talking about, because he goes to MMA training, and he was like,
"Oh yeah, what he does?
man,
What
he's trying to go into like UFC or Bellator, whichever one. But he just got out the army, so he's pretty young still. But he's like, when they're in the middle of fighting, he was telling me that he doesn't like small talk. Like, when you're in the middle of like training and stuff, and someone has to do like small talk. And I was thinking about, I was like, man, that's true, because like, if you're in this position to fight and you're trying to ask like a question quick, like, dude, let's do small talk in the locker room, or like in a parking lot, like, or not small talk, but like, let's talk in a parking lot or locker room. But like, there really is no use of like asking a quick question if you know the conversation is going to die in like 2 seconds.
Unless you're trying to like learn a move and you're trying to break it down, right?
Yeah.
I started doing jiu-jitsu a couple of months ago.
Oh, nice.
Right? I fucking love it. Shit. I'm so busy. I can't fucking shout out to Pro Sub Jiu-Jitsu. I enjoy it. That's my therapy.
Nice.
Like, if I'm not thinking about my son or my wife, I'm thinking about that.
Nice.
Right? And like, it's no small talk. Unless, like, it's crazy because sometimes I roll somebody and like we're trying to choke each other out, and we're like, "How your day going? Oh, what did you do yesterday?" As we're rolling. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. I only ask questions like when I'm trying to break down a move, or like,
yeah. But like in that sense, it was like he asked, I guess, a personal question. But like that, for that example, like, I guess when you're doing whatever he's doing, it's more, you can't really, I guess, talk while you can, but you can't, I guess. I don't really know. I've never been to one of those practices, but it's like, it got me thinking, like, yeah, that's true. Like, why is it always surface level conversations? Like, why can't people just go deep? Like, when I meet somebody, sometimes my cousins don't like going out with me, or like we're going somewhere with me, because I'm always going up to people and shaking hands, like, hey, what's up? My name is Elle, and my family calls me Lay, so I say that name as well. And so, and when I ask questions, I always like, so what do you want to do in life? Like, that's always my first question. I'm like, what you doing? So what are you doing? And I go deep the second I meet them, and they don't like that I do that. But it like, I guess the researcher in me is always interested. Just collecting my own personal data in my head. It's like, I just want to know, like, what do people want to do? And it shocks you too, because sometimes someone's like, they're just working there because they're trying to support their dream, and their dream is like totally different. I'm like, wow, dude.
Yeah, but that's like, I stopped doing that. I stopped talking to people. I'm very quiet. Like, when I go to class, I usually, like, if they don't approach me, I don't talk, but I'm usually in the corner by myself. Like, I think it's like, because as you get older, in some way or form, it doesn't satisfy you, the small talk. Right? You try to be a little bit more appreciative of every moment, right? You want you want every word that you speak of to matter in some way or form, right? And like, I don't have that in me no more. I'm old. I have a family. I want to talk. That's why I created DioTalk. I want to talk, right? But tell your brother to try jiu-jitsu, especially if he came from the army. Like, most people that do jiu-jitsu are like, how do you call it? Like, like there are people that like just doing it because like a trend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll buy the fucking shirt, pants, put back, whatever. There's a trend rather than
Mm-hmm.
actually do jujitsu, you know? Right? One of those people. Am I explaining it right?
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those
Yeah, it's
people that go to
true.
gym. I lift shit up and put it back down. Oh, bruh. It's like
Yeah.
all bronze and muscle, but nothing up here.
Yeah.
Right?
Very true.
I learned jujitsu. You know, I try to when I look at it, I go, I go deep. You know,
Mm-hmm.
especially if he comes from the army, he's in that attack mode. He's been trained to kill or do or fuck somebody up, right?
Yeah.
He's not trained to de-escalate.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, it's if you ever look at a match or anything, you're trying to do the most damage at a minimum pace. So at best, somebody's trying to choke you out or put you in a comfortable position so you can stop. There's
Mm-hmm.
more defense than offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at MMA fights, once they get them in an armbar or some form of jiu-jitsu grapple, it ends there,
Wow.
right? You don't want to hurt. Like the way I look at jiu-jitsu is a defense sport. It's not an offense. I don't want to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to paralyze you. I want to stop you from
Mm-hmm.
hurting me and from hurting yourself. Right. Once you learn that concept, like you grow in a certain way that you start looking things that like different. Like when I roll to
Yeah.
like when I'm rolling with a person, I've been told I'm very good. I don't believe that. I think it's just being nice. But when I roll, because it's so physical, which I fucking enjoy it. Like when
Mm-hmm.
that chaotic moment makes me feel at peace. Um, I roll like it's real life because it's so physical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm trying to change my mindset that I'm not trying to fight you. I'm trying to stop you.
Yeah.
You come to your senses so you don't hurt me or hurt anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and the days that I get, excuse me, I get amped up and I'm like, oh, I just want to fuck somebody up, or it puts me in my place.
That's good.
It puts me in my place in a way that like I need to come to terms. I'm not bigger than God and I'm not invincible.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to walk right and act right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's helped me to control my inner demons.
Man, I need to go to this dude.
Yeah,
I need to get in with that. That's
yeah,
what's up.
yeah.
That's
It's.
dope.
But I'll tell you this much: not everybody's gonna speak to you like I'm speaking to you.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh, what about technique? Whatever, technique is more, or is it
Mm-hmm.
just jujitsu junkies?
Yeah.
Like I talk to people all the time that want to go tournaments and get their fucking medals and shit. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't need that. I'm trying to fix me. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So it's very. I didn't go last week, but I went Saturday and Sunday. It's very therapeutic.
A personal question. So does it affect like mobility? Because right now I have an injury with my SI joint.
Mhm.
So affects and I usually do like powerlifting. So I can't lift heavy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like does that affect what do you think it will affect my mobility?
Um,
Like do you think I could still do it if I was to because I'm trying to find something
yeah. Well,
to help me
the
release.
like when you start everything is on the floor. So you're
Okay.
either on top of somebody or your back
Mm-hmm.
is on the floor.
Okay.
Um, at first it's gonna fuck you up because especially if you're stiff and you don't really like you gotta look at jiu-jitsu like yoga,
Okay.
right? And like Greco wrestling, like high school wrestling, that's like lifting weights. It's
Mm-hmm.
wrestling is you're very tense, aggressive, forceful, but yoga is like very peaceful. It helps you like if you start doing that, but also start doing yoga, you'll
Mm-hmm.
notice an immense change in your body, but a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you stretch, it's gonna feel good, and you're more
Okay.
movable rather than you're stiff and you're trying to stretch and you're killing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's good to
Um,
know.
it's very physical. You can't get hurt because sometimes you work with people that are just like they forget they have 9 to 5s or families, and they just do stupid shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Okay,
like,
that's good to know though. I'm gonna try that out.
but if I've tried to do like strength and conditioning. It's like mix of CrossFit, but also like a lot of stress and yoga. It's excellent
Hmm.
for your body.
Hmm.
Like, you still get sore and whatnot, but like Sunday I went for strength and conditioning, and yeah, I was a little sore, but the next day I feel so fucking good because
Hmm.
you're stressing your joints. You're not like stiff.
Yeah, that's good. I need to find something because this physical therapy and this injury ain't it. Like I miss lifting, but yeah, that's cool. I gotta try that out.
Yeah, definitely. It'll help.
Hmm.
Also, always give time to heal. You got to give your
Hmm.
time, because I had an injury for quite some times, and me just going and keep going. I wasn't getting here, so I had to take a balance.
Yeah,
You have to do that,
yeah.
and I'm way better than I was before.
Hmm.
Shit, I've shit. This Saturday, I rolled with a black belt and a brown belt and went to war. So
Nice.
they even told me, I did pretty good against these fuck. I'm still a white belt, so I'm
Nice.
doing
That's
something
what's
right.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit. That's one thing. Anything you do in life, everything is earned and nothing's given.
Hmm.
Win or lose, everything's earned and nothing's given.
Hmm.
Everybody has to earn their shit. If you're gonna whip my ass, you're gonna earn that shit.
Yeah.
If you can take something from me, you can earn that shit. Nothing's given.
Yeah. This what you said just now just reminded me of what we were talking about earlier. Faith without works is dead. It reminds me of sometimes people pray like you didn't study for that test, but you're praying for an A.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Come
Yeah.
on, man. It just kind of popped in my head, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, you didn't put no reps in,
Yeah.
and you over there trying to max out on the PR, like,
Mm.
sorry. It
No
blows my
word.
mind.
That's facts. Shit. I've been guilty of that shit. I'm not gonna lie.
I've done it too, but
Shit.
it's just that's
No, that's
funny.
true. That's true. That's very true. True.
Hmm.
You know, you can't pray and expect a miracle to happen like that. You have to do. Which is, I applaud what you're doing, because that's tough love. That's what we need. We don't. Sometimes it's good. Yeah, we can be lovey dovey, not, but you also need that tough love to remind somebody. You
Yeah.
know, so they can think. Start thinking.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't want to fucking think.
Hmm.
You know, I really admire what you're doing. I think shit is beautiful. I wish you much success, and you need support. I'm right here,
Likewise.
right here.
Likewise.
Uh, it's been an honor talking to you. It's been a pleasure. I had fucking fun.
Me too.
Um, Whenever you want to come back, you're welcome. If you want to come back with your brothers too, you're welcome. Um,
Let's go.
I'm gonna put you in connection with these girls from Los Angeles. They have it's called Silent Warrior Chronicles. There's these
Ooh.
two young ladies from California. They they talk about mental health, especially with women.
Hmm.
And it's very uplifting.
Hmm.
And they need somebody like you to go on their show and talk about what you're doing in your movement.
I appreciate it.
Lady D,
Really.
one is Lady D, and the other is Lady DMC. You guys are gonna connect. It's very they're doing an amazing thing just like you, and I think that's what you need, that type of support. So we finish here, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna hit them up to let you know and talk. You're gonna do amazing work. I know it.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. Hey. Thanks for the platform.
That's why we're here to support one another and to talk about shit that really matters.
Yes.
You know.
That's right.
But before we go, let the people know where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Own the Struggle. That's probably the best way, and has my link tree for my website and how to book a strategy call. So, Own the Struggle on Instagram. That's the best way.
There you go. Yep. Go follow her. Thank you for joining me once again. It's an honor.
Thanks, Dio.
Have a good night, guys. I'm out. Peace.